What's up, everyone? So today I want to talk about something a little bit different, and that is the recent passing of Joe Lindner, aka Joesthetics. For those of you who have no idea who he was a super positive and popular influencer in the fitness world. A lot of you guys have probably never heard of him because you're not down that algorithmic tunnel on YouTube or on Instagram. But for me, I follow a lot of the fitness YouTubers because that's my thing, right? It's my passion. It's what I've always been interested in. I was a natural bodybuilder. I've mentioned that before. And it hit me. It hit me and it hurt me, the fact that he passed away. And the reason why is I didn't know him, first of all. I never spoke to him. I didn't consume a ton of his content. But he is just like so many people that I personally have lost in my life that aren't popular YouTubers. I have recently lost a good friend, Tony Metcalf, to something very similar to Joesthetics, even though nobody technically knows right now why he passed away at the age of 30. I do know that 30 is not a healthy or a normal age for somebody to pass away from. It was also not the normal age for my friend Tony or my friend Tim Owens, or like the list goes on and on and on and on. Not to mention, if you guys remember Rich Piana, right? Super popular YouTuber that was gigantic, huge monster arms. He passed away as well. There have been so many stories, so many instances of these young, unbelievably amazing in terms of their physique, people that are just dying from, like, whether or not it's an aneurysm, whether or not it's a heart attack, whether or not it's whatever. The fact is, the one thing that these guys all have in common is that they all are taking performance-enhancing drugs. They're all abusing their body, even though they look absolutely amazing. So this video, I hope, does not come across as insensitive, and I think that there's some learnings that may hopefully come out of this, and hopefully there's at least one of you that decides not to go down that road in terms of using PEDs or performance-enhancing drugs, because it's eye-opening, honestly. You know, for me, my bodybuilding career started when I was 12 years old, right? I saw the movie Rocky, right? And he was fighting the Russian. He was working out in Russia, and that body, I saw that, and I was like, my God, man, if a body can look like that, that's what I wanted. You know, little did I know that they were actually using performance-enhancing drugs, and I remember it like it was yesterday, right? The shot of the Russian, he's training, Rocky's lifting stuff, and they show the Russian getting a shot in his shoulder, right? And everybody's like, oh, he's taking steroids. The truth is, Rock was probably juicing a little as well. But that moment was a light bulb moment for me, and it truly would change the rest of my life. That got me really interested in fitness. Combine that with the fact that when I was 12 years old, I went to the gym because that's the Christmas present I asked my mom for. I remember it like it was yesterday. She goes, what do you want for Christmas? I said, a gym membership to Body Transit. Body Transit was a little gym in Collegeville, right near where I grew up in Skipback, Pennsylvania. Anyway, I'd pass it and I'd see these dudes in the window, right, lifting weights, and they were big and strong, and I thought, God, I want to go there. I want to do that. And when I did, it was amazing what happened. I felt amazing about myself. For the first time in my life, I felt confident, right? I loved what happened to my body. I loved everything about it. And I mentioned this before. That was the point at which I knew what I wanted to do for the rest of my life. The truth is that it was me trying to basically fill a void or fill this insecurity that I was feeling. Jeff Cavalier recently did a video talking about the death of Joe Lindner. And he and I, like Athlete X, Jeff Cavalier and I are cut from very similar cloth in terms of the way that we view things, the way that we look at things. We're also about the same age. He graduated in 1993. I graduated in 1994. You know, he has an incredible physique. I'm, you know, still doing well, but I have not chose to make fitness my business and my body my business. Jeff has, and so anyway, long story short, Jeff's amazing. Well, he did a video recently talking about Joe Lindner, and he talked a little bit about Joe's pain. And the fact that most people that get into fitness or bodybuilding, they do because they are insecure about something, or they're trying to cover up or basically mask a pain. The one thing that most people that get into bodybuilding and working out like that have in common, it's to deal with an insecurity or an issue that they've had from childhood, right? And when he said this, I'm like, my God, like, I never thought about it that way. I never thought about it as like this macro thing, but I knew that that's why I started. It was basically to feel better about myself, right? And then as I got older, you know, I went to college. I knew I wanted to own a gym, and then I got into the nutrition world. Well, the nutrition world opened my eyes to the fact that a lot of these bodybuilders are the biggest drug addicts you'll ever want to see, right? I didn't run in that crowd, but I knew a lot of the people, and a lot of the people knew me because they came to my store to buy stuff, and I talked to them, and I would see it, right? I would see all these guys that were competing at the NPC level, which is not drug tested. That's basically the thing that you see where everybody's trying to basically become a pro and then they can go to the Olympia. Like it's non-drug tested, NPC is. Anyway, but there were organizations that were drug tested, that were natural organizations, and that's what I gravitated towards. Even though, you know, I was into bodybuilding, even though I loved like getting my muscles bigger, I didn't want to necessarily cheat. In my opinion, it was kind of cheating. Not kind of, it was cheating. The other thing was that I liked my body, and I didn't necessarily want to be 250 pounds of ripped, chiseled, sexy muscle. It just wasn't my thing. I wanted to do it naturally. And so because that was one of the options, I decided to actually go that route, and I had a ton of friends who did not. The truth is that a lot of these friends that I had that were also bodybuilding at the same time as me have passed away. I can name 5 people that have recently and non-recently, because it's been a while, you know, that have passed away. All young, all amazing in terms of their bodies, but the one thing that they had in common was the use of performance-enhancing drugs. Right? I had a friend, Tony Metcalf, who literally passed away this year. He was 40s, right? Incredible body, had an amazing life. He just met the love of his life and boom, dropped dead. Was it from some crazy like condition? Was it from, I don't know. I don't know why. But I know that it's not normal. I know that it's not natural. I know that all of his family is mourning his loss. I know everybody is horribly distraught because here's this dude who was, from all intents purposes, like just living an incredible life. He looked amazing, and guys would see him and be like, damn, I wish I could look like that. But he abused performance-enhancing drugs for years. You know, and that's kind of the thing I want to talk about today, and that is don't fucking do it. It is not worth it. Even if you are making your body your business, it is not worth it. There are better ways. And the truth is, a lot of these young dudes, a lot of you guys out there that are seeing all these studs, all these amazing physiques on Instagram and YouTube, you think, okay, if they did it, I need to do it. And you also think it'll never happen to me. The Joe Lindner thing, right? The Rich Piana thing. Like Rich Piana, everybody looked at, if you guys don't remember him, he's the dude that had tattoos everywhere, right? 1% nutrition or 5% nutrition or whatever. He had arms like the size of my waist, right? He was huge. He was super popular, and he died. Now, he was doing other things, but the fact is he died. And it's not something that anybody was expecting, right? Even if you think, okay, he's, you know, taking all these things, nobody thinks that it's going to happen to them. Nobody thinks that it's going to happen. You know, now, if you see somebody that's 500 pounds, they eat like crap, they're living a sedentary lifestyle, right? Everybody thinks in the back of their head, he's going to croak of a heart attack. He's going to die early or whatever, because chances are, statistically speaking, he probably will, right? The odds are not in your favor. But when you see somebody that looks amazing, you don't think, oh, they're going to die at 30. They're going to die at 28. They're going to die at 35. But it's happening. It is happening consistently. It is happening often. And that's the thing that I just want to get across. It is not worth it. We talk about your most valuable asset is your health. Without it, nothing else matters. Literally nothing else. A successful business, what car you drive, how much spicy ass you're getting, nothing else matters. If you're not healthy, it doesn't matter, because health is one of those things that money can't buy more of. It doesn't matter how rich you are, right? If you get cancer, you can go get better treatment. You can probably find better doctors, but it's not necessarily going to make you live longer, maybe a little bit, but it can't cure you. You can't fix it no matter how much money you have, right? You may look amazing taking all the performance-enhancing drugs, but you can look amazing without it. And that's the thing and the point that I just want to get across and stress today, is that you can have an incredible, amazing body, better than 99.99999% of other dudes out there, naturally. Now, are you going to be as shredded? Are you going to be as big? Are you going to be as huge? No, because our physiques, our bodies have limitations, right? And it's the performance-enhancing drugs that are pushing and allowing people to push the limitations, the physical limitations of their body. Is it normal? No. Is it healthy? No. Can you and should you do it naturally? Yes. Should you take testosterone or TRT? No, not if you don't need it. Now, if you do and you've gone to the doctor and you've had all the tests and it's like, oh, your T level is low and that's the reason why you feel like shit, then should you take it? Sure. But there are a lot of other lifestyle adjustments and modifications that you should do first, in my opinion. Eat better, sleep better, right? Take multivitamins, take vitamins that are going to help support your natural function, right? Get in the gym, lift weights. There are things that you can do to help facilitate and support a natural testosterone and a high testosterone level. Now, the truth is at the age of 30, it starts to plummet. It starts to go down about 1% per year, but there are things that you can do to boost it up. But this doesn't mean that you may not need it. A lot of dudes need it, right? As you get older, you need it and get it. You know, unfortunately, a lot of these people, these young dudes that are going on performance-enhancing drugs at a young age, they're like screwing their body up and their testosterone production up long term, because the way that testosterone and TRT and all these performance-enhancing drugs work, it's basically fake testosterone in your body. Your balls are super smart. They're little geniuses, right? And they're like, yo, if you're going to give me all this testosterone, if I'm going to have it, then my balls aren't going to need to work as hard. And so guess what? Testicular atrophy and all that not sexy stuff. And then, you know, the gyno, right, you develop like breasts because of your estrogen level starting to rise, because your body is an amazing machine, right? If your T level goes up, your estrogen level, which everybody has, is going to try to keep up, right? Your body tries to maintain a healthy balance. But when you're given extra, right, this is going to go up and then you're going to get this. And when you start to get that, you start taking an aromatase inhibitor and that is going to crush your sex drive. Like, there are all sorts of not healthy, sexy things. The other thing that you need to understand is that it is not normal to be 5% body fat year round. It's just not. And the truth is that when this happens, your testosterone level naturally is going to plummet. You also are going to feel like shit. I've often said, when I used to do natural bodybuilding, right, I would get like super lean. That was one of my things. I was symmetrical and I was lean. I was never the biggest dude out there ever. And when I competed, it was all done by like height. So I was in the short category and I did well because I knew how to diet and I basically had a nice symmetrical body. I worked my legs, I worked everything, right? And so I would do really well. But the one thing you need to understand is that the day that you look the best, you literally feel the worst. You're dehydrated, you're absolutely depleted, you feel like ass. And so a lot of these dudes that you see on Instagram, on YouTube that look incredible, they feel like shit. I guess the takeaway and where I'm gonna wrap this video up is just, don't do it. You don't need to do it. You're amazing, and your health is not something that you should jeopardize for anything, including six-pack abs. It doesn't matter if you're going to become more Instagram famous. It doesn't matter if you're going to get your pro card. It just doesn't matter. If you're not healthy, it doesn't matter. And the unfortunate thing is that we're going to see a lot more people that you know, a lot more people that are your age, a lot more people that are younger than you dying or having some hard thing that they've got to deal with physically because of the choices that they've made. And unfortunately, a lot of people that are doing it or using it will blame something else or be like, oh no, it's because he has a family history. Oh, but like you can say it and sell it to whoever you want, but stop lying to yourself. Now is the time. You're still alive. You're watching this video. You have the ability to change, but it takes you being honest. And it takes you realizing that you don't need to do it. You've got to do whatever you can to be healthy, which includes going to the doctor, going to get regular blood work every single year to see where your markers are. Because the truth is that a lot of the things that could kill you, they're warning signs. You can find out and identify it before it's too late. And if you identify a lot of these things, including cancer, before it's too late, right, you can fix it. You can do something about it. Right? That's why I went in for a colonoscopy before I was technically supposed to go in for a colonoscopy. And guess what? 5 precancerous polyps. But I caught it 5 years before I would have. I felt so lucky. And after that, I was like, oh, if I can go get that checked out, let me go see about my heart. And so I went and had a calcium scan and a heart scan and did all that stuff. Guys, you never know when your time is up, right? I could walk out this door, boom, hit by a bus, done, right? You never know. When your ticket's punched, your ticket's punched. But there's some things that you can do in order to try to facilitate a long, healthy, happy life. All right, wear your seatbelt. Don't do drugs. Don't smoke. Don't drink in excess. Don't drink and drive. Like, don't do stupid shit. Try to take care of yourself as much as possible. Eat healthy. Don't eat a bunch of toxic shit, right? The healthier you can be, it doesn't guarantee anything. You could literally drop dead tomorrow, right? But you got to give yourself the best fighting shot you possibly can. And this video, unfortunately, I wish I didn't have to make it, but I hope that at least one of you takes it seriously and realizes that it's not inevitable, that you basically can live forever. You've got to understand that the choices you make now, even if you may look good, doesn't mean that you're going to be healthy. And just because somebody looks good on Instagram or YouTube, or they're popular or famous or have a bunch of girls or money, doesn't mean that they're going to live a long, happy life. It doesn't mean that they're not doing irreparable harm and damage to their body now just to look good. It's not worth it, but you are. So stop it. I beg you. Don't do it. If you're on it, get off of it, because I want you to be around forever. That's it. That's all I wanted to say.